I've got a seven-figure goal in mind that I'm looking to achieve, and more importantly than that, I think I would say that that's going to be kind of the result, if you will. What I'd really like to do is over the next 3 years is to try to make an impact on 300 plus med spa and concierge physician services in a positive way, so that they can really grow during this economy.
Welcome to Career Coaching Secrets, the podcast where we talk with successful career coaches on how they built their success and the hard lessons they learned along the way. My name is Davis Nguyen, and I'm the founder of Purple Circle, where we help career coaches scale their business to $100,000 years, $100,000 months, and even $100,000 weeks. Before Purple Circle, I've grown several 7- and 8-figure career coaching businesses myself, and have been a consultant at 2 career coaching businesses that are doing over $100 million each. Whether you're an established coach or building your practice for the first time, you'll discover the secrets to elevating your coaching business.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Career Coaching Secrets podcast. I'm your host Rexhen, and today's guest is Chad Brown, an entrepreneur, coach, and consultant dedicated to helping leaders and business owners sharpen their focus, execute with clarity, and thrive without burning out. Through CBB Coaching and Consulting, Chad guides CEOs and executives to bridge the gap between strategy and execution, turning bold ideas into structured systems that deliver results. His work blends leadership coaching, performance frameworks, and practical accountability, helping clients identify critical success factors, master stress before it becomes burnout, and operate like the top 1% of leaders. And it's a pleasure for me to have him on the podcast today. Welcome to the show, Chad.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here.
Thank you for coming, Chad. It's a pleasure for us to have you on, and wanted to learn more about your start as a coach. So when you started your coaching business, or even before that, becoming a coach or doing coaching, what inspired you to take that step and then start as a business?
Yeah, I think in order to answer that, I kind of got to go back into history and be at the place of looking for a coach before I even knew what a coach was or what a mentor was. I remember when I want to say around 21 years old, I had the opportunity to lead my first team. And in doing so, I had a team that was willing to work hard, but we didn't have the right framework and culture within the team to drive the results we were looking for. But I didn't know where to go to get the right result, to get the information that I was looking for to be able to build my team. And so along the way, I ended up coming across a leadership book, and it was the first time I'd ever read one, and it happened to be John Maxwell's 21 Laws of Leadership. And for me, that became like a little bit of a light bulb and an aha moment for myself. Like, this is what I've been looking for to help become a better leader for my team. That kind of became the catalyst to say, all right, I need to keep reading. I need to repeat this more and more, right? I need to consume as much information as I can to become a better, more effective leader. And over time, what started to happen is I was able to develop different frameworks and skill sets. And as my team grew, it started getting some traction from within the organization as I was doing different projects and things like that. So I started having other leaders start to reach out to me, and other managers within the company that I was working at, kind of starting to pick my brain on different things that they were struggling with. And so, over the course of 23 years with the same company, I had a great chance to work with a lot of different folks with their teams. And it kind of became a scenario for me where I just felt compelled to do something greater than help just one organization. I wanted to be able to contribute more to the organizations within my community and help them to build their businesses up. And so that's kind of where it started. And over time, it just became a kind of an accumulation for me of how much information can I consume and apply to bring value back to the organization, and then to the people that I started working with after that. What can I do to add value to them to help them reach their goals? Fast forward to 2023, and I just decided, it's time for me to start consulting and coaching on the side. So I was doing that, working with a handful of clients. And then in 2025, earlier this year, it was like, okay, well, let's just go ahead and launch full time as a coach and see how many more folks we could create a positive impact for, and how many more organizations we could help.
So it's been earlier this year that you've started full time on it.
Correct. Yeah. I launched in April. Between the time that I started and now, what I really spent a lot of time doing is trying to look and analyze the themes that come up, reoccurring patterns within the challenges that folks face, and then develop some frameworks around that they'd be able to follow. So, for example, I'm sure you've known some folks that have come to you, I'm sure, that have said, "Hey, I'm on the edge of burnout. Like I'm struggling right now and I don't know which direction to go." It's being able to work with folks like that to help them, one, reduce the overwhelm and the stress and anxiety that they're experiencing, and then give them some frameworks to be able to put in place so that the business starts to run more based off of systems versus them being the person that has to answer all the questions for everyone, putting in excessive hours, those types of things.
Cool. And so how would you describe the ideal client profile? We did mention that we're working with leaders, CEOs, executives, but is there a certain industry, if we were to break it down to a deeper level, is there a certain industry, certain demographics, psychographic? Do they have some common goals or other commonalities? How would you describe that ideal client profile?
Yeah, absolutely. So what's beautiful is the frameworks that I utilize are they work well within any organization. However, because my background is in healthcare, I really wanted to focus more on like med spas and concierge physician services. And that's really the folks that I feel like I can connect with and resonate very well with, right? And usually that ideal client, they're in a place where their business is doing well, but they're having to put in more to get more out of the business in a way that's just becoming too taxing on them. They start to feel like they're just trudging through sludge every day just to run the business. And so I like to be able to work with those folks and kind of get them out of that place again from where they're feeling overwhelmed, implement some systems, help them streamline their operation, evaluate their revenue streams, see what kind of additional options we have there, and then really work with them to develop a plan for the longevity of the future, making sure we have the right metrics in place, making sure we have simple things like regular meetings with our staff to, quarterly business reviews, those types of functions in place so that they can really grow and scale at the level they're looking to do.
Cool. And so where are they, and this goes back to that research that I mentioned, where are they finding you right now? Is there a marketing channel that you find that is working really well?
Right now, I think the best place that I've been finding is through word of mouth. I see some, I do have folks reach out to me through LinkedIn. I am active on there, or through my website, cbb.services. Those are the two primary channels other than word of mouth. That's usually where it comes from is, I've worked with someone, they've appreciated the result they've been able to get, and then it becomes they tell a friend who then says, you should talk to Chad and CBB services and see what they can do for you.
Is there like a system that you have to help you always get those referrals, or is just casual?
Usually it's through I would say the work has been good enough that that's what's kind of promoted itself, right? When someone comes into an existing med spa and they come in and they're like, hey, wait a minute, this is a better experience than what I've gotten before. What's changed? And it's usually some sort of business owner as well that's in there that's seen that, and then that's where some of that conversation starts to come from. With that said, I do, for folks that have the right audience, I do have an affiliate program that I'll launch with the right partners and stuff.
So you were thinking of like launching it, or is it already something that?
I have it built. I'm just looking for the right partners to partner with.
Okay, that makes sense. Cool. And so it's mostly referrals. And right now, when looking at the future for your coaching businesses, it's kind of also not been that long since you're doing it full time. So I can imagine that one of the reasons why is mostly referrals. But looking to the future for the next 1 to 3 years, what are you looking forward to? Is there some specific goals you have in mind that you want to achieve for your coaching business?
Yeah, I've got a 7-figure goal in mind that I'm looking to achieve, and more importantly than that, then I think I would say that that's going to be kind of the result, if you will. What I'd really like to do is over the next 3 years is to try to make an impact on 300 plus med spa and concierge physician services in a positive way, so that they can really grow during this economy.
Cool. That is a good goal. And when thinking about that, what would you say is a challenge right now for you to get to that goal? Or are you thinking, since it's going to be for the next 1 to 3 years, let's say you got to 7 figures, what would you say would have slowed you down for the next 3 years to get to that 7 figures? Where do you see the challenges?
I I think where I see the focus needing to be to kind of avoid those scenarios, right? I always kind of go back to Andy Grove's book, Only the Paranoid Survive. And so it's constantly thinking about those aspects of things. I think it's a matter of one, building the right partnerships, whether that's from an affiliate aspect or just the clients that I work with. But I think ultimately it's going to come down to generating the traffic and delivering the value back to the customers. Those are the two key elements that I think are going to be the main area that I'll be looking to focus and get support from.
Cool. And you'll see actually that it makes a lot of sense. You'll see that on the research paper that I'll send you, that having that consistent flow of traffic, as you said, or maybe qualified leads
Yeah,
within your funnel is a challenge that we've noticed last year from most coaches who filled out our research paper. So that is a valid problem. And when thinking about that, and for just this year that you've been running it full time, what have been some investments that you've done in your coaching business that you feel really good about? Either you learned a lot or got a good return from. Um, on the opposite side of that, what have been investments that you would prefer to have avoided?
yeah, for sure. Well, and I think both kind of start with the same answer, and that's working with the right people, right? The lessons learned was making sure I have the right person that I'm partnered with to help me develop and fine tune my business. Because I think one of the aspects of this, and I'd be curious about your feedback on this, is how many business owners do you see that they're so busy in their business that they don't have the chance to step back and kind of look at it with clear eyes to say, okay, are all of the systems producing the way they need to and being able to run as smoothly as the business could? So that's a long way to then say, I had the pleasure of working with an organization called Coach Foundation. And what they were able to do with me is to really be able to take a step back and with an unbiased view, say, here's some areas where your website can benefit. Here's some areas where your practice as a whole can be sharpened. And I'm so thankful for it because what it's allowed me to do is to be able to deliver more value back to my customers.
What I've seen is that with coaches is definitely a problem. The part of like focusing on either doing the coaching or actually working. So doing the coaching is basically working on your business, in your business, and
Mm-hmm.
the sales and marketing, which is the other side, is the thing that is very challenging for coaches, especially those with either small teams or solopreneurs, because their time is so limited. Actually focusing on current clients, that expanding is challenging, and is not even that the capacity is an issue. It's also like maybe skill, but also most coaches that I've interviewed do not prefer marketing and sales, don't like to do it.
For
And
sure, for sure.
it's just something that they like the coaching, which is what got them started into the coaching business, but they don't like running the business per se. They like to do the coaching and focus on their clients and their clients' growth. But yeah, the marketing and sales always been kind of challenging. And often the solution has been to either hire a VA that is trained and is like good at marketing or certain marketing parts, like either working on your LinkedIn or working on like your email sequences and your newsletter and things like that. Depending on like what that marketing channel of choice is that you want to expand on, having a person that is like full time and has a good skill to focus on it is generally what coaches who have seen success is usually by setting this to someone else, by offloading it from their work, because it's not something that they prefer to do, I guess.
For sure. Have you ever read the book, The E-Myth Revisited?
Sorry, what was that?
The E-Myth Revisited?
No.
It's an older book by a gentleman by the name of Michael Gerber. I want to say it came out, I don't know, I think it's over 10 years old now, but I encourage you to check it out because, one of the things they talk about within the framework of his book is so many people get stuck working in their business that they don't have time or don't dedicate the appropriate time and energy to working on your business. And you got to be able to shift your mindset as a business owner from the business is now the product, right? You've still got to be able to go out and market that product to help it grow. And so I think it'll resonate very well with what your data is showing and what you've experienced from that standpoint. And you're 100% right. We all have our areas that we like to go to in our business, our comfort zones, and we can get caught in that, right? And even with coaches, I think sometimes coaches get to that point where they're like, well, I have a product, but I need to keep refining my product. I need to keep sanding the rough edges down so that it's really polished. So when I do get that one customer, it's just going to be amazing for them, without ever actually taking time to get that customer, understand what their needs are, and then continue to refine your product to, deliver more value as you go forward.
Absolutely. I totally agree with what you said. And I feel like it's not only coaches who face this problem, it's mostly small businesses or
Yes,
small solopreneurs who don't have a team that can help them. It's also not that easy to just get a team, so
for sure.
you got to grow it first, and it's a challenge. And when thinking about yourself, so you want to go to 7 figures, obviously it's not possible to do it on your own.
Correct. Yeah.
When thinking about coaches who want to scale their coaching business and they want to scale their impact, most coaches that I've interviewed are driven by impact, not necessarily by revenue, but revenue seems to be the tool to get that impact, but basically changing people's life, making an impact. And with coaches is simple because, like in your case, you're working with leaders. Those leaders have teams. They also have families. Those team members have families too. So it kind of like ripples down. You get a ripple effect on the amount of impact that you can do. So for the coaches who are trying to scale their impact, is there any other advice you'd like to give to them?
I think that there's a couple of things with that, right? So when you're talking about wanting to build your business, you have to be able to look at scaling and making sure you have the right systems in place that will allow you to scale. And what that also means is being able to factor in the time associated with whatever activity that is to scale, right? And when do you start bringing in resources based off of that need? I think the other aspect of it too to look at is if there's an aspect of your business that you don't like, whether it's marketing or whatever, if that's not what you're passionate about when it comes to your business, that is to me something that you should say, all right, do I have someone or can I afford to hire someone today to fill that need for me? And if not, what do I need to do to be able to do that? Because doing work that you dread, don't like doing, makes you uncomfortable, when there's people that are passionate about that, those are the people you really want on your team to drive the results you're looking for.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for that, Chad. And thank you so much for coming to our podcast today. For anyone who wants to get in touch with you or reach out to you, they can find you on your LinkedIn at Chad Brown. They can also, I believe, go to cbb.services.
That's correct. And if anyone wants to book a call, if it's okay for any of your folks that listen to this, I've got a full schedule, but for any of your folks that are listening, I'm willing to do 3 strategy sessions for any of those individuals at no cost. If any of them want to come through and book a call, happy to sit down, dedicate an hour to seeing what we can do to help them build their business and go from there.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Chad. And we'll put your link to the description as well so people can find it easily. I know LinkedIn might be a little bit challenging because there's a few Chad Browns, so might get but if they haven't seen like the video of this, they can find it on YouTube too. So, but we'll put the link of the website so you can easily find Chad. Thank you so much, Chad. It was a pleasure to have you on the show.
Likewise, I appreciate the opportunity today.
That's it for this episode of Career Coaching Secrets. If you enjoyed this conversation, you can subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you're listening to this episode to catch future episodes. This podcast was brought to you by Purple Circle, where we help career coaches scale their business to $100,000 years, $100,000 months, or even $100,000 weeks, all without burning out and making sure that you're making the impact and having the life that you want. To learn more about our community and how we can help you, visit joinpurplecircle.com.